Well, good evening, good evening, good evening. I want to welcome you to tonight's edition, and we are starting with the Chop House. Yes, I decided as we talked on last night, I said, well, let's just make Saturday and Sunday our Chop House event, and then we'll give the rest of it an opportunity as we go along. Listen, I want to welcome you. I want to welcome you. I want to welcome you to the Chop House this Sunday night. We'll be doing it on Saturdays, and on Sundays we'll have Bible study Monday through Friday. And I thought that kind of made sense. That kind of gave us the weekend to have a breath and to take a step away and just chit chat. Truck driver, I see you out there. Cassandra, Isaiah, I see you out there. So glad to have you with us on tonight. This is our second edition because we started on last night actually, and I thought we had a great time. I thought we had a great conversation, and I want to appreciate you all for coming in here this evening. So as we get started on the Chop House, as I said, this is where we're just going to chop it up. We're just going to talk. There's no topic that's off limits. If you have something that you want to talk about, send it in to me, and you can send it to the spiritual thought leader at outlook.com. If you want to send it a clip, if you want to chat with me, of course, you can always go into my Discord as well. But as I said, no topic is off limits, and we're just going to chit chat and talk it up, chop it up here in the Lion's Den, and have a good time. I want to kind of start with, let me also remind myself to be sure. I hope you all can see this. That is the phone number. Feel free to call in. It's a little large in it. I might make it a little smaller later on, but I'm going to leave it like that for the time being. That is the number, 816-705-8966. And I do believe I have the phone hooked up and ready to go if you want to call in. Now, probably my goal is to have three things of topic, and this is scheduled for 1 hour from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, but I want to make it worthwhile. Now, as I said, I really am hopeful to have something that as time progresses, and I've reached out to a few people as well, that will bring more of our young people in, because I really want to have an avenue and a platform where they can come if they have questions, if they have things that they want to talk out, if they have things they want to address, that they can come. And those of us that are a little more seasoned, those of us that have been around the block a few times, I'm hopeful that we'll be able to share some insight with them. But at the same time, I hope that we can share and grow from one another. Almost like Mr. Rogers, won't you be my neighbor? You hear me keep talking about Moais, Moais, Moais. And I'm almost like, won't you be in my Moai? Because I do believe that this is a time where we need to have connection. We need to have the ability to have those that we can look to and rely on for support, for love, for strength when we need it, for finances if that situation should come up. We just don't know the different things that happen in our lifetime during the course of a week, a month, a year. So many things can happen where we all need one another. And I want to be able to establish that for us. Now, I'm going to start. And you know how I used to do in the Lion's Den in Yes You. I'm going to do a couple of videos. I am going to go back because tonight I wanted to talk about and expound a little bit more. Yesterday in the Chop House, our conversation was two things can be true at the same time. Two things can be true at the same time. I am going to go back and actually play the video that I was referencing, and there are several pieces of it chopped up. If you're not aware, Michelle Obama and her brother, her biological, Keith, come on in here. It's good to see you. So much love to you, sir. One reason I see you. So much love to you, the Bishop of Twitch. It's good to have you here as well. All these fine brethren in here, it's good to have you along in the Chop House on tonight. Now, as I said, last night we kind of touched on Michelle Obama, and again, her brother, and is doing a podcast that they have started together. I'm trying to remember what the name of it is. It's initials. It's something real simple, but I can't remember what it's failing me right at the moment. But I have mad respect for Michelle Obama. I have mad respect for President Obama. I know everybody has their different opinions. I'm not trying to persuade you one way or the other. I'm not trying to turn that into a source of conversation. I'm just expressing. And while I'm doing that, let me definitely say that any clips that I show that are copywritten, let me get my little disclaimer together. Because listen, I'm doing it according to the U.S. copyright laws, y'all. You know, we got to do it right. We got to do it right, because I don't, you know, we don't want no foolishness coming up at the end of the day with folks trying to talk crazy. So I'm just trying to make sure we get all the bases covered. I messed around and closed that thing out while I was trying to get it, but nonetheless, we are doing. Her sibling was a basketball coach. You know, I don't know if he was or not, Keith. He may have been. I don't have as much knowledge about him as I do about her. I just know it's her brother, and that they have started a podcast together, which I think would probably be a great podcast to watch personally. And I go there on the strength of Michelle. I find her to be a very credible individual. And I love her for her transparency. Even as we talk about how strong she is, how powerful she is, how in touch she is, yet and still two things can be true at the same time. She was transparent in this interview about how she really, if you will, lost herself having to always put herself in a certain position because of her being the former first lady of the United States, and how that truly, truly impacted her. And I think that's true for a lot of people. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to come back and revisit it. I wanted to start with comedy. I love Rachel Maddow. So you all, you know, different things that I share are going to be things that interest me. I hope they interest you too, but if they don't, oh well. But I hope that you find them interesting. I hope that you find them informative. And again, anything that I share is with copyright laws for fair use. IMO, in my opinion, with Michelle Obama. Thank you for that, Cassandra. That's what I love about this stream, because y'all come with the deets every time. IMO, which I believe stands for in my opinion. And I love it. And as I said, I haven't seen it yet, but I love the idea. Let me say it that way. And I will be, if it's not already launched, I will be watching it. I want to say Oregon State University. Come on, a major school. Come on with that, Keith. I appreciate that. And that's one thing I want to always encourage. Oh, that's what that. I was like, what is that at the top of? I'm gonna turn this off for just a second. My chat needs to be readjusted because I've been doing quite a few things, and I was like, what is that? Did y'all see all that strangeness at the top? But I'll get that fixed. I'm not gonna stop and fiddle with that right now, but I'll have that fixed tomorrow so you guys can actually see the chat on the screen. So if you'll bear with me tonight, you may not be able to see one another's chat on the screen, but you can see it if you're in Twitch. I'm hopeful. I know Cassandra is in YouTube. Now, I love Rachel Maddow just like I love Joy Reid, and so this is my time to chop it up and say whatever I want to say. I told you all. I feel like I'm at an age, and I'm gonna pull a truck driver in here too, because Truck and I are about the same age. We're at the age we can say whatever we want to say. You know how you get to that point where there's just no more filter. There's no more filter. The chop house, listen, it shall be chopped up in here. Please believe it shall be chopped up in here. Because I feel like facts, truck driver, facts. I'm at that stage and place where I don't need to bite my tongue. I don't have to worry about whether people are going to like me or not. Because either you do or you don't. And even if I tried to make you like me and you didn't like me, that's okay. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, we're going to chop it up in here. I love Rachel Maddow. I loved Joy Reid. MSNBC, I feel like in some ways they've lost their way. That's anything that I express in here is my opinion. It is expressly my opinion. And I'm not trying to talk to get you, if you need therapy, counseling, it's not for any of that. This is just, in my opinion, IMO, not to steal from Michelle, but this is in my opinion, and I'm chopping it up and saying what I want to say in this chop house. Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid, I thought were two very powerful voices on MSNBC. Now, isn't it interesting Go with this where you will or may. Isn't it interesting that Rachel's still there? And no shade to Rachel, because Rachel loves Joy Reid. Don't get it twisted. She has nothing but mad love, mad respect. I think on one of Joy, it was either her last show that she did or a post show. I can't remember. But Rachel Maddow and two of the others came from MSNBC and made it very well known that they were very displeased with the situation as it went down. Nonetheless, isn't it interesting that Rachel's still there and Joy is gone? However, that being the case, you know, and you can read between the lines, but I say it's according to the skin color. I feel like there's some issue going on there to be taken into consideration. And so at the end of the day, I tell you what, it just is. Thank you, Keith. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. And I will. I want to share this clip from Rachel Maddow because this is going to be my comedy section. So, like I said, probably every night I'm only going to have about 2 to 3 segments. That's all. You know how I used to do on Yes You, and we would just, oh my goodness, we just ran clip after clip after clip. I really want to spend this time to talk, and I really want to give you time to talk as well. So feel free to talk in the chat. Feel free to call in. Let me put that number up there once more and again so you all can see that telephone number. If you decide you want to call, go ahead and call that number, 816-705-8966. 816-705-8966, and be aware that all the rest of the listeners will be able to hear you. Now, I want to show this because, listen, Rachel, this is my comedy. This is my comedy right here. Rachel tells it like a T-I-Z, tis. She doesn't pull any punches. And at the end of the day, I'm just going to show it and let you see it for yourselves. Here we go.
Recall that Trump appointed a pro wrestling executive named Linda to be the Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, right? Turned out to be a weird job because both she and Donald Trump say that her job as Secretary of Education is to shut down the Department of Education. Kind of a strange job. Still, though, Linda McMahon, Trump's education secretary, found time in her busy schedule to go to a conference this week, a conference on artificial intelligence and American education. It's a whole conference about AI. Artificial intelligence, AI. That's what we call it, right? AI. AI. Unless you're Trump's education secretary. In case that abbreviation, AI, turns out that's a really hard one.
I heard, I think it was a letter or a report that I heard this morning. I wish I could remember the source, but that there's a school system that's going to start making sure that first graders or even pre-Ks have A1 teaching, every year starting, that far down in the grades. And that's just that's a wonderful thing.
See the other people on stage with her going, she's the Secretary of Education. She's talking, wait, what are we talking about here?
Or that first graders or even pre-Ks have A1 teaching, every year starting, that far down in the grades. And that's just that's a wonderful thing. Kids are sponges. They just absorb everything. And so it wasn't all that long ago that we're going to have internet in our schools. Woo. Now, okay, let's see A1 and how can that be helpful?
Now, I myself, I love me some A1. It's tangy. It really brings out the best in a steak or whatever. But A1, I mean, it's not like an education term of art, like K-12 or something, right? Or pre-K. You know what I mean? Like A1 is a whole different thing.
In our schools. Woo. Now, okay, let's see A1 and how can that be helpful?
How can that be helpful? How can that be helpful? So this is an anagram that you spell out. It's not like NASA, where you don't say NASA. You just pronounce the anagram as if it's a word. This is the whole anagram spelled out. It's artificial intelligence. A and then I. AI. And she cannot spell that. So now we've got tangy, salty A1 in all the schools. And that will somehow be facilitated by abolishing the U.S. Department of Education. You may recall.
You know, you guys, all I can say is that you just can't make this stuff up. You just look out there looking at her, truck driver. Now, I'm just going to say it. This is what happened when you take somebody that all they've done is professional wrestling. Because y'all know that's what Miss McMahon is known for, professional wrestling. You take somebody that's all they know and you make them listen, your name ain't Toby, your name is Kunta Kinte. Come on here, Keith. Listen, at the end of the day, Cassandra, you can't make this stuff up. Now, I'm not getting ready to get into a whole lot of who shot John about what's going on in the political system right now. I'm just looking at this clip that Rachel did, and it is absolutely hilarious. Now, the idea that this woman that keeps saying A1, now the whole conference is about artificial intelligence. The whole conference is about artificial intelligence, truck. And she keeps saying A1. And you just almost said, hey, Shelly Thunder, come on in here. Listen, we just got finished watching this clip, and I'm telling you, I'm tickled. I'm just tickled. You can't make this stuff up. And that's why I said tonight, that's my comedy for the evening. Because this woman, God help her. Now, what makes me concerned is that she is over the Department of Education. And as Rachel Maddow said at the very onset of her commentary, they keep saying that her job as the Director of Education is to dismantle education. Now, let me say, with that being said, I feel like that's all the more reason why the Chop House needs to be here, because we refuse to be uneducated. We refuse to be ignorant. We refuse to be unaware. And understand that when you want to keep people in ignorance, and I'm not just talking about them, I'm talking about any institution. That includes the church. That includes, you name it, fill in the blank. Anytime you want to keep people in a place of ignorance, the goal there is actually, she wrestled. Listen, Cassandra, she wrestled not against flesh and blood. She wrestled against A1 sauce. How are you at an artificial intelligence AI conference and you keep saying A1 and you don't know that you're in error? I just don't know how that happens. I just can't, in my wildest imagination, understand. And truck driver, you are absolutely right. Did you see the way that everybody else on that panel was looking at her? I'm sure it had to be utter disbelief, truck. Like, are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me? Because at the end of the day, it is just no way under the sun, truck. I'm sure that's what they were thinking. There's no way under the sun that you actually think that is A1. So, but what I will say again is anytime you have an agenda, and listen, I'm going to go here because this is the Chop House. And I am the spiritual thought leader, and I tells it like a T-I-Z-Tis. When churches don't want you to learn, when ministries don't want you to get educated about the Bible, when people don't want you to go in and amongst others to observe and learn their culture, their rituals, their lives, anytime you try to keep people in a state of ignorance, please understand there's a level of manipulation and control that's involved. Because the only way you can keep Listen, truck driver, I'm talking. I'm talking real hard in here. The only time you want to keep people ignorant is when you want to manipulate and control them. And when you get angered, upset, and intimidated because they begin to go out and gain knowledge and become educated and begin to learn, and you start getting nervous and now wait, you listen. There is the ability for most of us, not everybody, but most of us that are in this room tonight for sure, to utilize critical thinking. Now, when you don't have critical thinking skills and you might be a little challenged in your ability to process between this and that and easily thrown off course, okay, sit your hind parts down, I guess, and be still. But when you have individuals that have the ability to listen and observe and discern the difference between A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, I want you to go out and learn. I want you to go out and be educated, okay? I don't want you to be in a continual state of ignorance. So, please read between the lines. To have this much of a concerted effort to dismantle education, I just, and to flagrantly and openly continue to say that's my job, to dismantle the education. It's amazing. It's absolutely astonishing. But what does that say to us? Educate your children. Educate your grandchildren. Don't leave it to the system. Send them to school. Now, I'm saying something right here, and I hope you all are listening to me. Send your children to school educated. Don't send them to school to get an education. Send them to school educated so that they are not caught like a deer in headlights. That has happened to me when I started asking questions about the Bible to a pastor. Listen, I'm going to tell you what, pastors can be, and church can be one of the most egregious places where they do not want you to learn and they do not want you to educate yourselves. It's amazing. Now, I'm going to say this in all sincerity, truck driver. We can encourage our members to go out and get bachelors and masters and doctorates, if you will. But when it comes to church, there's this sense that if you don't come to me as your leader and pastor, you should be just as ignorant and as dumb as a box of rocks. If you have the ability to go out and obtain a bachelor's or a master's or a PhD, and you're encouraged to do so, why wouldn't you be encouraged to know and study the Bible just as much and just as well? Why would I want to keep you in ignorance? Like, I have to be the one that tells you. I have to be the one that teaches you. I have to, baby, if you have the ability, and I said what I said, and I'll add to it before I take it back. If you have the ability to get a master's and I don't care if you don't have a degree, because it's really not about the degree. It's really about your openness of your mind to learn and comprehend. There are a lot of people that don't have not near a degree that have more knowledge than people that have PhDs. And I said what I said, and I'll add to it if I take that back. So it's not about the paper, but I'm just challenging if your mind has the capacity and everything else to go into higher levels of understanding and education. Why do we feel like people have to be so ignorant and slow about the Bible? I just don't understand it. Unless and then I don't, can I say this? I don't understand the people. Some of y'all act like if the pastor or somebody doesn't come and explain it to me, I can't understand it. Can you read? And then at the end of the day, let me say this. And you can read and investigate and research. There's nothing wrong with that. You can read and research for yourselves. You don't have to have somebody tell you A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Well, I got to have a spiritual revelation. If you get Google it and a dictionary and concordance and actually begin, you can educate yourself. So at the end of the day, and actually many times with many of the ministries that we have nowadays, you can almost educate yourself beyond what your pastor is. So at the minimum, find the keys to learning, and don't ever ever throw them away. Always be in a posture, in a position to learn. But I'm gonna say once more and again, Rachel Maddow had me cracking up. That video clip right there to me was just hilarious. And it's unfortunate that we are in this particular situation. But it is what it is, and I'm not going to bemoan that. The only thing that I'm going to say is that it really behooves us to not continue to find ourselves in this space and in this place, because we don't have to. And there you have it. Now, I was going to play a clip. Let me see. It's already 6:30, so I done already chatted away 30 minutes of my time. So I'm going to jump right on in, and I'm going to get to Michelle Obama. Again, I talked about this on last night, but I wanted to play it this evening because I feel like there is a lot here in what she's saying. And then I want to springboard off of that, and I want to talk a little bit more, because this is a good time. I feel like we're in a great time. This is a good time to understand, even as I said on the other day, the other week, whenever it was, there's enough sunshine for everybody to catch some rays. There's enough sunshine for everybody to get some rays without anybody being left out. There's enough that everybody can eat. I hope that this is the journey that we're finding ourselves on. And guess what? I want to eat, but I also want to help you eat. And I want to help your grandchildren and your neighborhood. I want us to find this as a time to really begin to come together and band together. And part of that is going to come with us coming into a place of understanding ourselves better. We talked about it yesterday. Two things can be true at the same time, so we're not tripping about duality. And I know we teach duality as something really negative and as something really demonic. But even as I said on yesterday, and Stay Lifted really put some good input in there yesterday. I'm trying to remember some of the comments that she had about how many times we like to make it demonic. But just like there's a North and South Pole, just like there's an East and a West, two things at opposite ends of the spectrum, but yet and still they will actually work to balance each other out. Even as I said, the duality, even though we don't want to use that terminology, the duality of Jesus as a human being, he was 100% God, but he was also 100% human. So you had these two ends of the pole. But yet and still, he was 100% both. He wasn't partially that and partially that. He was 100% man. He was 100% God. Divinity, he never laid his divinity down, even though I know there's a lot of theology that teaches that. But nonetheless, we see him operating, and we have often been asked and tasked to, it's got to be this or that. And when we find ourselves in places like where I love, again, the transparency that Michelle Obama brings to the table here to really talk openly about where she's at and where she's been. And there are several clips of this. I'm just going to show this one clip. There are several shorts or snippets of it. But this is the one that I was really impacted by. And this is the one that I want to share with us on tonight. Because, again, I feel like there's so much here. And this is good stuff. And I do have utmost respect for her. And so let's roll with it.
Decision to skip the inauguration, you know, what people don't realize, or my decision to make choices at the beginning of this year that suited me were met with such ridicule and criticism. Like, people couldn't believe that I was saying no for any other reason, that they had to assume that my marriage was falling apart.
Right.
You know, it's like, while I'm here really trying to own my life and intentionally practice making the choice that was right for me, and it took everything in my power to not do the thing that was right, or that was perceived as right, but do the thing that was right for me. That was a hard thing for me to do. I had to basically trick myself out of it. And it started with not having anything to wear. I mean, I had to affirmatively, because I'm always prepared for any funeral, anything. I walk around with the right dress. I travel with clothes just in case something pops off. So I was like, if I'm not going to do this thing, I got to tell my team, I don't even want to have a dress ready.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's so easy to just say, let me do the right thing.
But then you become a shock absorber.
Yeah.
And that's what women are.
Yeah.
Shock absorbers.
Yeah.
And that's exhausting. And
It
it's not
is.
healthy.
Yeah.
It is not healthy. You've had to be shock absorbers for your husband,
Yeah.
for your children, for your mom, for your
Yeah.
family, your loved ones, because of where you were sitting in the public eye. That's not fair to you. When do you ever get to live for you? I applaud you. I'm happy that you are taking care of yourself in the way that you need to.
Yeah. My decision to
Now, I applaud, just like Shelly Thunder said, I applaud all of that because what she has described there is so very healthy. I love it. I love it. I love it. And at the end of the day, I approve that whole message. And as I said on yesterday, it's not just to women, but my sister Henson does bring up that point. I approve that message too, truck driver. That this is so common for women, but it's also common for men too, which I said on yesterday. It's not uncommon to find that men will do the same thing, but we definitely see it amongst Black women, especially because using that term that Taraji used, we find ourselves having to be the shock absorbers. Now, I do feel like women tend to do it more than men, or it tends to be expected. Maybe that's a better way to put it. It's expected that women will just be that shock absorber. So, you know what a shock absorber does on the car? That shock absorber on the car or the vehicle, whatever it might be, is intended to absorb and to damper the intensity of that shock, so that you're really taking the essence of the blunt, the blow, the hit in the pothole, or whatever the case may be. You're taking the brunt of that so that everybody else in the vehicle doesn't have to experience the intensity of that shock. But if you're taking the blow and you're the one that's always in the front, that always, if I don't ever make me a priority, no one else will. Come on and talk to me, Cassandra. This is the essence of basically, as Michelle was saying here, it is so easy, and it is, to find ourselves always doing the right. And then let's say and understand, right for who? And right according to whose standards? It is the right thing as the former first lady to show up with your husband at this event, but it's even more the right thing for real to do what you need to do for yourself. And I think this is an area, as we are coming into a new season, if I can call it that. And as Cassandra said, if I don't ever make myself a priority, nobody else ever will. And guess what? They're going to take the lead from you. If you don't make yourself a priority, they absolutely positively are not going to make you a priority. So we have to come into this place of being that shock absorber is not healthy. And this is an area where I want us to thrive. I want us to fly. I want us to soar. I want us to be happy, not just tolerating life and walking through existing, but I want us to be happy. One of the stories that I saw first thing this morning was that the young lady that was the primary person for turning in Jeffrey Epstein and all of the sex crimes that he did and the sex trafficking killed herself on yesterday, I believe it was. And I remember, this has been a long journey. You remember she, even while she was still a teenager, reported the man. They did nothing to him. It just kept going and kept going and kept going. They finally apprehended him, only for him to commit suicide himself. And so she even, I remember in one of the interviews I saw where she said she felt like she had been robbed still of the opportunity to experience justice. But when she talked about how this had absolutely positively altered her life and all the things that had changed, and even as she was being trafficked and as she was being used, that whole element of not feeling like she had a voice, not feeling like she had a choice, not feeling like she could, and especially when she went to the police department and the police department didn't help her, that sense of, I don't have any power here. And at the end of the day, you know, I think that a lot of times you would think she moved to Australia, she met a husband. I saw a previous documentary, and it seemed as though they had a wonderful relationship, children, da 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 da. But there are certain things that inside, stuff that we carry that we don't tell anyone. And I don't know what all the situation was. I'm just addressing the fact that a lot of times we look at people and we make an assumption on the outside, what they're feeling and what they're thinking, but we have no idea. And I said this even about myself on yesterday. It frustrates me to no end that because I was a public, in the public eye during my public ministry, people would automatically assume that they knew me, family included. I'm like, you don't know me? You don't know me. You've not taken any time to really get to know me. And I'm not talking about, you know, and then just like Michelle said, so then they had to go to a dastardly place. You and your husband must be, you and Barack must be having marital troubles. Then people start giving you all kind of reasons. Well, you know, so what's wrong with you? You must have something hidden that you talking about. I don't know you. No, you've never, listen. Come on, y'all. Let's be real. And I'm talking real talk, and I'm talking about families. And a lot of times we want to act like all is well with our family, and you know it's not. You ain't never called me. You don't know what I like. You don't know this, that, or the next thing. You don't know anything about me other than, and let's be truthful, just because we have those meals together on the holiday, that does not mean that we know one another. And so then I'm trying to tell you, truck driver, set the standard for you, stick to it, and others will follow or not. So what benefits you? Come on, protect your energy, your value, your peace. Come on, Shelly Thunder. Thank you for that. I didn't want to lose that in the conversation. But truck driver, people act like they know. Now, come on. Some of y'all know you've had family problems from children, and at 50 and 60, those family problems ain't went nowhere. We just got older, but we just basically took a lot of that into an older body. But when you get together, you'd be surprised how many of those same dynamics from 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15 kick right back in like it never stopped. And at the end of the day, we've all changed. We've all, you know, gone in different directions and developed in different areas. And even if you knew me at 10, you don't know me at 65. So this is where we have to begin to assess and determine what is it and how is it that I want to operate in my life. And so when we get to this shock absorber experience that many of us do, and let me say this, and I'm going to say this for anybody like myself who may have been a victim of sexual abuse. That secrecy and that taking away of your power and your voice, that secrecy, they don't be knowing me. Come on, One Reason. They don't be knowing me. Come on and talk to me, brother. I'm talking the truth. This is the Chop House. We chop it up in here and we tell it like a T-I-Z-Tiz. So at the end of the day, it's like now we've been this shock absorber all this time, and I want to deal with that, and I'm going to speak specifically, and I'm going to deal with more areas of abuse, but tonight I'm going to hone in on those of us that have experienced sexual abuse. When you've been abused, there are certain things about your behaviors and the way that you interact that gets altered. It gets modified, it gets shifted, and especially if you were someone that carried secrets for a long, long time. Now, in that, you learn how to almost be a protector to the person that might be the perpetrator. Now, if that's not some shock absorbing, I don't know what is. But you get this energy in the silence that feels like, I don't want to get somebody in trouble. I don't want to, whatever the case may be. And you start just becoming this massive shock absorber. And so just like Michelle, you're ready for anything. You're ready for everything because you don't ever know what's getting ready to pop off. You don't ever know what's getting ready to happen. Come on, one reason. Family be pretending like it's all gravy, but it ain't. You better talk to me, brother. And this is real talk. This is how we do in the Chop House. Ain't no fake and phony up in here. This is real talk in the Chop House. So at some point, you have to determine and decide, am I going to continue to be a shock absorber or not? Now, I could take that to a whole lot of places for me personally, but I'm not getting ready to sit here and just talk about me. But please believe I understand it and I know what I'm talking about. And I can relate very, very well to what Michelle is expressing here because it happens all the time. Even to the point, and I'm going to say this again for those that may have endured sexual abuse and secrets. A lot of times what you'll find yourself in is that voiceless position when you're caught in certain scenarios. Not all. Two things can be true at the same time. You can be, and people that know me know, listen, I can be one of the most vocal people, and especially when it involves somebody else. If I got to stand up for one reason, oh, you better believe I'm going to talk. If I got to stand up for Shelly Thunder, you better believe I'm going to talk. If I got to stand up for Cassandra or Keith, you better believe I'm going to stand up and talk. But if I got to speak up for Regina, I become mute. Am I talking to anybody? Because I have learned that behavior of being silenced when it comes to myself. And especially in abusive situations. And I will say this, sometimes without meaning to, family can be abusive and not even realize they're being abusive. And maybe they do, but I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt that because they don't know you, they don't know the areas in your journey and what you've been through and what you've endured and have absolutely positively no idea. And then they come out with accusations and or assessments that are just as wrong as two left shoes. And instead of speaking and saying anything, there's that tendency to, again, go mute and be silent. Then you have the experience of when you finally do say something, then that's a major, major situation because you finally spoke up for yourself and it became and looked like a disaster. But at the end of the day, there's only so much that you can carry and only so far you can go before you're going to explode just like a pressure cooker. And the thing that I want us to do is to not get to the pressure cooker stage. I want us to go ahead and take ourselves back, take back your voice. And this is all Michelle was doing by saying, I'm not going. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't fit into the scheme of who I am and what I need. What I need. It's not about what do the people need to see. I knew that was going to happen. What do the people need to see and what do the people need to... It's not about the people. And whether it's the public that wants to... Well, the first lady, the former first lady should have been there and that seemed right. And it appeared to be right to the people. That doesn't mean that it's right for you. And you have to know where you are in your journey. One thing I do want us to do, people got to get out their feelings. Come on here, one reason. People got to get out their feelings. And, you know, this becomes really, because I'm going to say this, and I know this to be true. A lot of times, people that have been traumatized or people that tend to not really speak up, they've been squashing their feelings for so long, it's not even funny. They've been pushing it down. They've been squashing it. They've been swallowing the words when they wanted to come up and come out. They've been doing all of this. And it's like when I finally say, I got some feelings involved in this scenario. Oh my God, it's like mind blown, explosion. And at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with it. it can end up being a scenario in that setting, but two things can be true at the same time. While it may have created chaos, it still can be the healthiest thing that you did for yourself. Even as Michelle says here, I had to trick myself. That's when you know. Oh, come on, y'all. That's when you know you have gotten so entrenched in that behavior that you have to do little things so that you don't fall right back into that same trap of behavior. Am I talking to anybody in here? You have to do things to trick yourself not to fall back into that same behavior. Just like she said, I had to tell them, don't get me any clothes. Don't sit any clothes out. And that way, even in a weak moment where I want to say, okay, I'll go, bags already packed, clothes are already in there, walk out the door. No, ma'am, no, sir. I don't even have a stitch and nothing to put on. So that I can stick to what I need for myself. And so this is where I want to encourage us, because listen, shock absorbing will make you sick. Shock absorbing will keep you from your fullest potential. Shock absorbing will not allow you to be who you are. And this is what I want to say to you unequivocally. The people that are going to love you, and I'm not even saying that other folks don't love you, but listen, I do want to say that there are some of you that are going to have to learn some of the people that you want to love you can't love you the way you want them to love you. Uh-oh, did I say something right there? Y'all done got quiet on me tonight. Some of you are going to have to come to terms and grips with the reality that some of the people that you want to love you are not going to be able to love you the way that you want them to love you. Does anybody know what I'm talking about out there? Come on, somebody say something to me. Y'all done got real quiet. There comes a point, and it's okay. There comes a point where for some, you're just going to have to honestly acknowledge they can't love me the way I want them to love me, and let it be. Let it go. And take care of yourself. But you cannot continue to be the shock absorber. Come on in, Cookies. Come on in here, sis. You cannot continue to be the shock absorber. Can I put it like this? And somebody's going to say, I know she didn't say that. You cannot continue to be the one that always takes the high road while they take the low road. I said something right there. If you are the one that is always taking the high road, and I'm not saying take the low road, I'm just trying to point out behavior patterns. If you're the one that always has to take the high road while everybody is taking or those that you're dealing with are always taking the low road, you are a shock absorber. Come on, truck. You're learning day by day. If you are always taking the high road and everybody else, it's always, you are a shock absorber. You are a shock absorber. And it's amazing that, come on, one reason, sometimes it's almost like we know you have never taken the time to have a real conversation with me about me. Our conversations have always revolved around you and whatever was going on in your world and whatever drama was going on with you at the particular time. It has always, always, always revolved around you and what's going on in your world. You have not taken 1 minute to have a conversation, a real legit conversation with me to know anything about me or what I'm about. None. Never, ever. Not just in certain stages and phases of life, ever. And somehow or another, we delude ourselves into saying how close we are and how well we know one another when we are strangers. We're strangers. And at some point, you have to stop being estranged to yourself. Now, that's a word right there. Can I say that one more time? At some point, you have to stop being estranged to yourself. One more time for the people in the back. At some point, you have got to stop being estranged to yourself. It's unfortunate that people automatically assume that Michelle and Barack were having marital problems. It's unfortunate. And I'm saying to you, and I'm using her as an example, people are going to jump to conclusions about you too. Oh, be ready for it. No doubt. No doubt. They're going to jump to conclusions about you too. With a quickness. It must be this. Or it must, surely Job must have sinned. Surely Job must have sinned. And at the end of the day, what is essential is exactly what she did. Forget about the people. Forget about the naysayers and the public opinion and what appears to be the right thing to do, and do what's right with you. Come on, they aren't 47 and his wife. Come on here, Shelly Thunder. Come on, come on. You've got to do what's right. Won't even hold somebody's hand, but nonetheless, y'all didn't see that, and I didn't say it, but okay. At the end of the day, the shock absorber, because we've got to begin to move into our place of being. It's okay to let people be wrong about you when you're right about yourself. Come on here, Jabez. That's a whole word. It's okay to let people be wrong about you when you're right about yourself. That is a whole entire word. And that is the key. And you know what? And as I said to one of my friends, I no longer have the need to convince people who I am. Come on. Like I told you about the Chop House, I'm at an age and stage I can say whatever I want to say. I've earned the right. I believe I've earned the right to. I don't have to convince you of who I am. As Jabez said, it's okay to let people be wrong about you when you're right about yourself. Period, Shelly Thunder. Period. And it's not an aggressive, angry kind of, it's just a matter of fact. It is what it is. Come on, truck driver, I am. And so this is what I want to tell you. You talk about peace because I am free to be me. I am free to make my choices. And I'm not talking about, you know, people want to start going someplace sinister and undercover. Always something sneaky. Ain't nothing sneaky at all. At the end of the day, this is, you know, I'm one of those. I'm like, listen, I've been showing y'all the whole time, but you believe what you want to believe. And at the end of the day, I'm going to go back to what Jabez said, which is powerful and profound. It's okay to let people be wrong about you when you're right about yourself. You don't have to be the shock absorber. And again, I'm going to say this emphatically to those that may have also experienced, and we'll deal with other areas as well. Okay, well, let me just touch on it. It's 6:58. I got 2 more minutes. Whether it's if you were in an abusive household, and I'm not going to do it tonight. We may pick it up to the next time we come back. But there is one of the things that I loved. I said my concentration was in addiction counseling, and one of the things they did was sculpting, particularly in family systems where there was substance abuse. And you could guarantee there was going to be a scapegoat, there was going to be a victim, there was going to be, there were certain roles that just played out every single time. And when you went from one family to the next family to the next family, those roles once more and again would just play, because it's almost like an effect or a result of that system of living. And you can guarantee those behaviors, those personality traits start manifesting. And you can tell when it kicks in. You can tell when the scapegoat kicks in. You can tell when people's looks, opinions about you are none of your business. Come on, One Reason. Y'all better talk up in here. It's none of your business. Go on and be free. Be free. Give us free. Give us free. Am I talking to anybody? Do not be carried away with the yoke of bondage. Don't let it entrap you. So that's where we are. And that's what I wanted to that was my chop it up tonight, you all. Because this is such a good time. This is such a good time to be alive. I don't care. The different things that are going on, even as I said, we look at the director of Department of Education saying it's her job to dismantle education. That's insanity. But at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with me. I don't have to be uneducated. And the people in my world don't have to be uneducated. You go ahead on in your merry way. But listen, as I said it earlier, I'm going to say it again. Educate your children at home. Don't send them to school to get education. Educate them at home and let school enhance or not. But at the end of the day, that's not going to stop anything. That has no impact on us as a people. We don't have to be traumatized. And that's why I say chop house. That's part of why we're here. Let's chop it up. Let's talk about it. Let's get all these different ideas and understandings and concepts and let's talk it through and let's talk it up. Come on. Let's do that so that we don't have to be uneducated just because the director of Department of Education has been told that's your job, dismantle education. That has no impact on the chop house. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Come on, Shelly Thunder. That's a personal problem, not mine. And that's the way we need to approach it. And I encourage us because I'm going to tell you two things can be true at the same time. Where I have championed that voice in so many areas, there are still areas that I have not championed that voice. And I know those areas. I'm very familiar with those areas. And I know it and I feel it when it kicks in. She's going to do it with A1. Truck. Exactly. She's going to do it with A1. So, know your areas. Know your area. Listen, Shelly Thunder, not the A1. Yes, the A1. Listen, Rachel Maddow, she did it for me. That was great. That was great. That's all I can say. That clip was great. It was like Tony the Tiger. It was great. I loved every second of it. Yes, with the A1. So, at the end of the day, I want more of what Michelle expressed in our lives. I want you to manifest it. I want you to manifest. You don't have to be the shock absorber. Take yourself out of that position. Take yourself out of that trauma because it's very unhealthy. It's very unhealthy. And step back and figure out, and if any of you are like me, I have to catch myself because one of the things about that trauma of abuse is that you can go into a phase of freeze mode where you just cannot respond. And I don't care, you all can see me in the most proactive ways and with the most vocalizations and strong voice and strong opinions and da-da-da-da-da. But I also know those spaces and places that will render me frozen. And I know the telltale signs and, how I end up there. And I can feel it when it's coming on. And when you get in that frozen, chosen space, how you almost, and thank God for therapy, learning how to unfreeze yourself. And listen, I had one therapist that told me, I don't care if you got to do it forcefully and violently or whatever else, get it out. If you got to do it angrily, get it out. Just get it out. And of course, everybody ain't ready for that, but they don't understand the fight against the freeze. Do you understand what I'm saying? Two things can be true at the same time. So that was an area to have to learn I don't care if I've got to get it out forcefully, if I've got to get it out angrily, don't walk out the door silent. don't walk out the door in the silence of the lambs. Am I talking to anybody in here? And so this is an opportunity to let's step back and look at ourselves. And for those of you that been carrying all this down in your belly, all of this down in your gut, all of this down in your emotions, all of this down in, you understand what I'm saying? In your whole body. Some of you can feel it in your body. It seizes you and takes over and takes, release it. Release it. You are not the shock absorber. Do what you need to do for you. And if you don't know, learn it. Go to therapy. And Michelle, I love that about her as well. I didn't pull that clip in, but she talks about her therapy and how it has tremendously helped her to move forward. And she needed it. That's a great woman. That's a great woman. That's a strong woman. That's a powerful woman. And so I want us to find, and you are too. Everybody under the sound of my voice in here, you are great people. You are wonderful people. You are powerful people. And even if you need, some of us may need all the way to therapy and somewhere in between on the spectrum. And there's nothing wrong with therapy. Please don't take that as a negative. There's nothing at all wrong with negative. There's nothing wrong with you about going to therapy. So to wherever you find yourself needing to detach yourself from being the shock absorber, do what you need to do for you. But by all means, do you. All right? I love you, and I hope this has been a helpful experience. I'm not trying to, again, this doesn't replace therapy or anything else that you need. We're just chopping it up in here. We're just talking. And I appreciate those of you that came in to share in the convo on tonight. And we're going to cover a little bit there because there's so much good out here that it's waiting on us. It's waiting on us. Listen, one reason I'm gonna go ahead and let me just call everybody's name because the world is waiting on you. I'm gonna call everybody's name that's in this chat because the world is waiting on you. Keith, the world is waiting on you. Cassandra Isaiah, the world is waiting on you. Truck driver, the world is waiting on you. One reason, the world is waiting on you. Do y'all understand? I appreciate you. In Cookies, the world is waiting on you. Shelly Thunder, the world is waiting on you. Jabez, the world is waiting. They're waiting on us to be all that we can be because we have so much that we can bring to this table. And listen, we have so much to bring to this world and so much that, we can make a difference. We can make a difference. If one can put 1,000 to flight and two can put 10,000 to flight. And I'm just talking about showing up with love, showing up and being present, showing up not being a shock absorber, showing up and having a voice and not being muted and not being silenced of the lamb. If we can do this, and I know that we can in Cookies, if we can do this and bind ourselves together, do you all know there is nothing that can be restrained from us? And I believe that with all my heart. I believe that's why we all have crossed one another's paths, because it is by design and on purpose and by divine assignment that we've crossed one another's paths. And we're here to make a difference in this world. And we're making a difference as we support one another, as we continue to love each other. I'm excited about it. So I'm going to show this quick clip, and it's not, you're going to see me show this from time to time, these 3 clips, because won't you be my Moai? I'm establishing a Moai, and that's a desire of mine, just based again. Let's look at this clip real quick.
Okinawa, in Japan, known as the land of immortals because it's got the highest percentage of people who are living past 100. Why are they living past 100? What does they do? And obviously there's lots of dietary aspects, a lot of vegetables and polyphenols they have in their diet, a lot of exercise, but actually 2 huge things they have is they have something called a moai, which is their tribe. a lifelong friendship network. Like they will be friends with the same people for 60 years, 70 years, and they will be helping them with stress, with financial worries, relationships, everything. Another thing they have is called Ikigai, which is their purpose in life, their reason to wake up in the morning. Okinawa in Japan, known as the
I don't know if that killed it. It may have been picking up my. It may have been picking up my my sound from myself. Was it too bad for you to be able to understand what he was saying? If so, let me try to run it. It's very brief, but let me run it one more time.
Okinawa in Japan, known as the land of immortals, because it's got the highest percentage of people who are living past 100. Why are they living past 100? What is it they do? And obviously there's lots of dietary aspects, a lot of vegetables and polyphenols they have in their diet, a lot of exercise, but actually two huge things they have is they have something called a moai, which is their tribe, a lifelong friendship network. Like they will be friends with the same people for 60 years, 70 years, and they will be helping them with stress, with financial worries, relationships, everything. Another thing they have is called Ikigai, which is their purpose in life, their reason to wake up in the morning. Okinawa in Japan.
Okay, I'll have to figure that out, and I'm sorry that it's double. I thought maybe it was my coming back through from my headphones, but I'll find it. But it's a very short clip, but that is the idea. I want to see, and whether we live to be 100 plus, that'd be a wonderful thing. But I want us to begin to develop real communities and real groups where, like what he's saying here is basically they support one another in every area. If they have any kind of drama, trauma, any kind of scenario in any way, shape, or form, in all areas of life, they support one another all the way through. That's basically what he's saying. And Ikigai, we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go. And I'm going to pull that out from time to time. And I'm sorry that it had too bad of an echo to understand. But go out. It's spelled M-O-A-I, Moai. And at the end of the day, that's why I said I almost feel like Mr. Rogers in The Neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? I'm saying to folks, won't you be my Moai? Because I want to see us begin to develop a strong support group and foundation where we can stand with one another no matter what we go through and know that we have support. All right. I love you so much. Thank you for coming in. I hope I didn't miss anybody that was in my chat. I tried to, Jabez, I hope I didn't miss you, baby. And I'm so glad that you're here. I'm glad that everybody is here. This is our schedule for Chop House. As you know, on last night, we had our first Chop House experience. Real lifelong relationships, Jabez, real lifelong relationships. We did our first Chop House, the first installment on yesterday, and we talked about two things can be true at the same time. And today my thought was shock absorbers. I hope that on Saturday and Sunday we'll come in and have Chop House. If you got something you want to talk about, please feel free to let me know. Anybody that wants to call in, I'll give you a hot second if my phone rings in the next 60 seconds. If you want to call in and say something on the line, you're definitely welcome to do that. You're welcome to call in and ask questions. Send me questions. No topic is off limits. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. As I said, I'm going to probably come with maybe 2 or 3 quick little videos, clips, or conversation starters. And we'll go from there. But the goal is to just talk about life, talk about things that we need to talk about things that are on our hearts that we need to share. And won't you be my Moai? I love you. I love you. I love you. I probably got about 30 seconds more for this phone to ring, but it's not ringing yet. If I don't hear anything in about the next 30 seconds, I'm going to assume all hearts and minds are clear, as we used to say at the church. But you are welcome to call in, 816-705-8966. That number again is 816-705-8966. You are welcome to call in if you want to. All right. I'm going to presume that nobody's going to call me. And if you were, you could have said, hold on, I'm going to call you in the chat. But I didn't see that either. So I'm not going to belabor the time. I love you so much. I will be back on tomorrow, Monday through Friday, Bible study, Saturday and Sunday, the Chop House. Thank you for coming out and being a part of this. I love you. I really, really do. I always tell you as you go out of here, peace for your journey.
Y'all put your hands together for the